The upset stomach, the occasional nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. It's certainly common in people and in felines. Most of the time, it's a one off and really nothing to worry about. However, as a cat owner, what does that line in the sand really look like? When is an upset stomach something more? When does your cat's digestive issues become a problem necessary of professional treatment? In this material, I'll talk about 10 of the most notable signs of digestive problems. I'll also talk about a few of the main causes responsible for this health concern and when a vet visit is very much needed. I've got you covered. Stay tuned. In the introduction, I mentioned 3 of the 10 warning signs: nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. And these symptoms are certainly worthy of concern. However, when it comes to a lingering digestive problem, this trio, in addition to a few other issues, that's really the tipping point when it comes to warning signs. We all get a bit sick from time to time, but if your cat has the bulk of the following signs, there could be a bit more going on than simply an unsettled stomach after mealtime. The fourth symptom on the list is constipation, because while sickness can produce diarrhea, gastrointestinal issues, especially long term problems, can produce constipation, the inability to expel waste. If you've noticed that your cat is vomiting but hasn't eliminated in several days, this is a major red flag. Another symptom to be mindful of is a lack of food consumption. Is your cat lethargic and simply refusing to eat, or does your cat attempt to eat and is unable to keep anything down? Here again, watch for cluster symptoms. Decreased appetite over the course of a few days is a sign that your cat could be dealing with something more than a minor upset stomach. The next warning sign is weight loss, and I suppose this one is a given. The byproduct of other symptoms. If your cat isn't eating and is vomiting several times per day, nutritional needs will certainly suffer, and with it, your cat will start to lose weight. The next possible warning sign involves fever, and while fever is a rather generic, let's call it generic symptom, if your cat's body temperature is elevated and your pet is also exhibiting other symptoms, this is again another major red flag. A bit earlier, I mentioned lack of food consumption. If your cat is failing to eat and your pet receives a bulk of hydration from that wet food, another warning sign could involve dehydration. In fact, so much of your cat's lethargic behavior could in fact stem from not being hydrated enough. Digestive issues can also promote significant pain in your cat's abdomen. If you notice that your cat stays in the loaf position for hours at a time, rather hunched over and not wanting to move, your cat could be dealing with stomach pains. Additionally, be mindful of frequent grooming in that area. Some cats will attempt to quell discomfort by grooming. And the final warning sign that I'll speak about here today is bloating. If you've noticed that your cat's abdomen seems a bit larger than usual, this is a major visual red flag. This is especially true if your pet is showing many, if not all, of the warning signs I've already covered. Here again, as I said from the top, an upset stomach is very common, but not for days and weeks, and not with a variety of symptoms that seem to get worse and not better. Being mindful of the difference is very important. Before I transition to the primary causes, I understand that every cat is indeed different, and while these are 10 symptoms of concern, one or two of the symptoms could be more pronounced in one cat compared to another. And while these symptoms can appear in clusters, it's rare for all 10 to be present at once. However, if over the course of several hours and a couple of days your cat has exhibited all of these symptoms, that alone, here again, is a major red flag. With respect to the core reasons responsible for gastrointestinal distress, you have to begin with fur balls. Now, while fur balls are almost unavoidable, at least to some degree, if your cat is coughing up fur balls several times per month and the hacking and vomiting seems to become even more intense with each episode, this is very concerning. In severe cases, fur balls can create an intestinal blockage and perhaps even a choking hazard. What about diet? Could what your cat consumes on a routine basis be the core reason for your pet's digestive problems? It's possible, especially if you have recently made a drastic change in mealtime. If your cat's body is not used to new food, let's call it, the body could start to resist. It's wise to never make this type of transition overnight. If you want your cat to take on a new diet, slowly remove the old meal plan. You will likely have better results. And speaking of food, is that buffet open for your cat? Are they able to eat just about anything, including a few scraps from the table? Introducing your cat to human food can be met with some rather poor results. And although cats typically don't have much of an issue, at least not long term, it's just best not to chance it, especially if your cat is of senior status. Stick to your own food and let your cat's diet continue to be what is fitting for their unique nutritional needs. Another potential cause of digestive health issues is stress. Pretty sure everyone watching can relate to this one. If you're under intense stress, it's difficult to eat, difficult to keep things down, and those stomach pains can arise. Never underestimate for yourself and for your cat just how heavy stress can weigh on the body. Other reasons for poor digestive health include infection, bacterial, viral, parasitic, most notably ringworm. Food allergies can also pose a threat and make proper digestion quite difficult. If your cat comes across toxins and medication fit for human consumption, this can also cause a major issue. A bit earlier, I spoke about fur balls and the potential risk for an intestinal blockage. If your cat were to consume an object that is not fit for consumption, something that isn't food, such as a piece of plastic, this could cause not only digestive complaints, but potentially consequences of a much harmful and more severe nature. And before I close things out for the list of notable causes that could be responsible for digestive problems, sadly we must include cancer. Felines that have lymphoma can suffer from digestive issues due to forming and existing tumors within the digestive tract. Given all that has been said, when is it time for your cat to see a vet? Professional care to be placed in the hands of an expert. Personally, I always find that it's better to be safe than sorry. At the very least, call the vet and give them a rundown of what's going on and seek their opinion. For the most part, digestive issues don't qualify as an emergency situation. Discomfort doesn't require urgent care, especially if outside of a cluster of symptoms, your cat is awake, alert, responding to commands, and otherwise doing all right. And just to preface, by doing all right, this would be your call. You know your cat's normal baseline, personality baseline. Just wanted to make that very clear. With respect to an emergency, digestive issues can become critical if your cat already has an underlying health issue. Cats that are already sick, already battling another health matter, need immediate care, kittens and senior cats most notably. While refusal to eat is common if your cat is unwell, anything upwards of 48 to 72 hours is dangerous. Additionally, if your cat is producing blood, either in vomit or stool, this is another urgent matter. And finally, if your cat's digestive complaints have resulted in shortness of breath, to the point where your cat is wheezing and gasping, this is a critical symptom that demands immediate action. Before I conclude today, and this has been a very loaded video, let's briefly talk about prevention. When it comes to digestion, it all starts with making sure that your cat is in good general health. Regular vet checkups are very important. Your cat's diet, also very critical. Make sure your cat is consuming wet cat food. Make sure they're getting exactly what they need from a nutritional standpoint. Does your cat love to play the role of the curious adventurer? Keeping chemicals and questionable objects out of your cat's path and reach is also a very strong form of prevention. Bug sprays, children's toys, and anything and everything in between. And if possible, keep your cat's outdoor roaming to a minimum. While this is much easier said than done if they are allowed to go outside, keeping them on a short leash, perhaps both literally and figuratively, is always a good idea. Quite the loaded topic this time around, and now I'll turn things right on over to you, the audience of Senior Cat Wellness. Has your cat dealt with a digestive issue in the past? Is your cat currently being treated for one in the present? Your personal ownership stories and general commentary. As always, the comments section is all yours. If you enjoyed this content, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you as a member of the Senior Cat Wellness family. And until next time, thank you so very much for watching, and I will talk to you later.